Hi, and welcome to this video about the wedding planner. You can purchase this spreadsheet on my shop product page, shop.mommoneymap.com, which I'll link to below, but you can also just watch this video to get inspired about how to plan your wedding and what details to think about. This video goes over the wedding planner in Excel, but there is also a Google Sheets version. There are also variations for this planner, various colors, as well as a more basic version with less tabs. You can also purchase the wedding budget, wedding guest list, wedding timeline, or wedding venue comparison spreadsheet separately. I'll include all the links below. So first off, what information is included in this wedding planner? There's the Start Here tab, which is where you'll enter in all the information that is noted here before moving on to the other tabs. Then there's the Expense Tracker. This is where you can manage your costs so you don't go over budget. Then there's the Guest List Tracker. This organizer will help you keep track of all of your guests' information. This includes your RSVP status, as well as requested meals, accommodations, and thank you cards for gifts. You can also include all of the guest information here on this right-hand side. There's also a tables list. This is automatically generated based off of the information that you include in the guest list tracker under the table section. There's the seating chart. This is where you can rearrange the guests listed in each table from the tables tab so that they sit in a certain order. Okay. There are two to-do list versions. They both track 12+ month to-do lists for the wedding. They just look slightly differently. This one has a summary / dashboard above, and this one does not. There's also a timeline. This is where you can enter in your day of timeline, as well as any other events prior to the wedding and after, what their timelines are as well. You can also enter in the key people that are involved, as well as like what their roles are for those activities. There's a venue comparison spreadsheet. This is where you can easily compare each venue's availability, the costs, inclusions, and just other important information that's noted here. And this will help you then make a decision as to which venue you'd ultimately like to proceed with. There's an Ideas tab where you can enter in information of ideas that you're considering for the wedding, as well as an Activities tab where you can enter in the major activities of the wedding, including who the organizer is, if there are any specific instructions or supplies. So before I go through how to use this spreadsheet, two important notes that I should mention. If you'd like to make any changes to areas on the spreadsheet that are locked, you can always go to the Review tab, click on Unprotect Sheet, and then make the changes you'd like to make. After you make those changes, I highly recommend going back to the Review tab, Protect Sheet, and then leaving the password field blank and pressing OK, just to preserve all the formulas and charts and to ensure there aren't any accidental changes. Another important note is that there are frozen panes, as you can see on some of the tabs. To unfreeze the panes, you can go to the View tab, Freeze Panes, Unfreeze Panes here. Also, if you'd like to change the view, you can do so by going to the View tab, zoom, and then making the magnification change here. On Google Sheets, it looks slightly differently. If you make changes in areas that you shouldn't necessarily be making changes on, you'll see that a message will pop up that says heads up. And if you want to override this message and make that change anyways, you can press OK. Otherwise, you can just press cancel. To change the viewing, you can go here and then just change the magnification here. And then if you want to unfreeze panes, you can always go to freeze, no rows or no columns. Okay, so how do you use this wedding planner? The first thing you should do is navigate to the Start Here tab and enter in all the information that is in a white cell with a border around it. And there are instructions here if you're uncertain as to how you should enter information in or what information you should be including. Entering this information will auto-populate information on the other tabs. After that, you can navigate to each tab. Let's start with the expense tracker. This whole area here in the expense tracker is not meant to be edited. You'll see here there are formulas because this is the summary table based off of all the details that you note below. If you'd like to edit any of these categories, you can do so by editing them here. You'll see if you want to change it here, it'll make that change to the summary table above. And then you can edit all of these categories as well. So once you've finalized all the categories, you can fill in for each item the goal, which is the amount you'd like to pay for that item, the actual amount you ended up paying, when you have paid the amount, what amount it is that you've paid, as well as the due date for the payment, the deposit, if there is a deposit due, what the deposit due date is, who ended up paying for that expense, and the vendor's information if you'd like to include that. Entering all this information will make this column and this column auto-populate. So you can see here you've got many categories that you can enter information on below. One thing I should also mention is that there is a total budget field here, which you enter in here. This is the total budget for your wedding. And then you'll see there is an auto-populated remaining budget, which is the total budget minus the goal budget. Moving on to the guest list tracker, you'll see that everything in this summary area above is not meant to be edited. It's just the details that are noted here and then here all the way to the end. That's meant to be edited. One important note, if there is a drop-down area that is indicated, select from the drop-down menu as opposed to typing in the information, just to ensure that the summaries update correctly. You'll notice that there's one field here that is not meant to be filled in. That's the full name field, and this is automatically populated based on the information that you enter here. So in terms of the details that you're supposed to enter in, it should be the first name of the guest, the last name, if there's a title like Dr., Honorable, Mr., Mrs., Ms. that you wanted to include. You can also just leave the area blank if you'd like to. The type of individual, if it's an adult, child, or baby. The guest, who this person is a guest of, if it's a guest of the bride, the groom, or both individuals. The relationship area is the relationship to the person in the party. So in this case, Jennifer's sibling, but it could be a parent, coworker, etc. This might be useful when you're planning who to put in each table and you want to put people you have the same relationship with in the same table, like if you want to include all the coworkers in the same table. There is a wedding party column, and so if this person is in the wedding party, you can note that here. There's also a column for if this individual is bringing a +1. So if this person is bringing a +1, you can indicate that here. And then if this person, say, isn't bringing a +1 or is a +1 of somebody else, you can always indicate this in more detail in the note section. An important note, indicating yes doesn't automatically update the totals in the summary above. You'll still have to list that +1 guest's name in a separate line below, just to ensure that the summary counts are correct. The reason why it doesn't automatically update is because it allows you to record all of the information for that +1, including meals, contact information if you want to send them a separate thank you note, and so forth. But the reason why I have included this column is because it allows you to indicate who has brought a +1, which might be handy for seating arrangements, invitation purposes, primarily. And then you can always enter in any special notes about that person in this area here. You'll see here, if you've already sent this person to save the date, you could indicate that in this column. And then if you've also sent the person an invite, you can indicate that here. And then here, if the person has responded that they'll attend the rehearsal dinner, you can indicate that here, yes, no, or you don't know. Same with if they have said that they are attending the ceremony or not attending the ceremony. And then the same goes for the reception as well as the day after brunch. You can indicate the table number you're assigning to this person, and this will automatically, again, populate the tables list. You can indicate the person's appetizer preference, main course preference, and if they have any special dietary requests that you want to note, like if they have allergies. I've also indicated a separate note section here if you want to make any other special notes about the reception about this person, like if they need a high chair. In the accommodation section, you can indicate whether or not the person's booked a blocked room, as well as which particular hotel this person is staying at. I find this area useful for if you're planning on sending welcome bags directly to the hotel. And then here, you can indicate if this person has brought a gift, what the gift is, and whether or not a thank you note has been sent or not sent. And finally, at the end, you'll see the contact information. You can indicate all of that guest's contact information and whether or not they're an out-of-town guest. Within each heading, you can filter to select just certain information. So if you want to select people that are just in Hotel A or Hotel B, you can do so and it'll filter accordingly. And after you, of course, populate all the information, you'll see that the summaries above will change accordingly as well. Now for the Tables tab, nothing on this tab is editable. The tables are automatically filled in with the full names of the individuals listed in the Guest List tab based on the table number that you entered. There's a sum of the number of people at each table at the bottom here. This table list has space for up to 15 people. If you need to add more people in each table, you can insert a row for each additional person. I just wouldn't do it very close to the sum area here. I would probably do it like one row above, right click and insert the table area here. For the seating chart, if you want people to sit in a certain order, you can copy over the information from the Tables tab. Just copy it over to the seating chart and then just rearrange them if you want them to sit in a particular type of order. Just make sure when you do the actual copying over that you're right-clicking copy and that you are right-clicking and pasting the values only. There are two wedding to-do lists. There is one that includes a summary dashboard above, as well as one that doesn't include it. For each to-do list, you can change all of this information here. If you want to make it 13 months, for example. You can also change all of the tasks and buy flowers. Let's see. There are blank areas though, if you want to just use the tasks that are here and add to it. And when you finish a task, you can just click the checkbox and you'll see that everything will update accordingly. You'll see for the to-do list alternative, it operates similarly. You can change the duration here. You can change the tasks as well. And then you can also just check off the task and you'll see that it'll cross off automatically. For the timeline, you can edit everything here. And you can edit all the dates, the times, and then if you're in a situation where you want to combine the cells across multiple time blocks, you can always merge the cells. So you can merge them. For the venue comparison tab, this area here is editable as well as this information below, including this here, and then all this information here, and so forth. I would start off by filling in all of the details for each venue within each section. You can always change which details you're looking for within that area. And you can also add in additional details as there are blank areas noted. Once you've filled in all the details and have an idea of each venue's total costs, location, etc., as it compares to your preference, you can rate each criteria here above. So you can rate it out of 5. 1 is not favorable and 5 is very favorable. For example, if the venue has a low appealing cost, you can give the venue's cost rating a 5. And if the location is not your preferred area or is not your preferred type of location, you can give the venue's location rating a 1. After you've entered in all of your ratings, you'll see that the venue's total rating will be automatically updated above. And you'll see all of this will change accordingly. Now on to the Ideas tab. You can just fill in the information for each idea in each column, categorize it, and then whether or not you like it. And then for the Activities tab, you can do the same thing, fill in all the information that's noted, and then when it's ready, then you can click that area here. If you buy the product, there are more extensive PDF instructions with screenshots that I encourage you to read through, as there's more information about the details, best practices, and frequently asked questions. Thanks for watching this video.